every great, you know, entrepreneur, every great basketball game, every great boxing match, you got to make adjustments. You just don't go in there the same way that you came out. And I think the pivoting allows us to realize, give us that resilience, but also give us the focus to know what's next. I'm happy about the different adjustments as I come to conclude everything. During these certain quarters, I was not happy and not satisfied. So I won't give y'all any fluff like, oh, it was all cookies and milk. Like, nah, it wasn't, everything wasn't all gravy. However, when you look in the totality and you really get to take out what you really learned and the wins that you did have, it really makes you grateful. And I think that's what this episode is really going to show us, the gratitude of all the different challenges and adjustments we had to make.
Welcome to Entrepreneurhood, where we break entrepreneurship down into 3 simple pillars: business, lifestyle, and motivation. Our goal is to use our personal experiences as industry leaders to guide and inspire young entrepreneurs to see the lesson in every challenge. Because we understand that companies don't succeed, people do. Now, welcome the leaders of Entrepreneurhood, Lakim and KB.
Welcome to the neighborhood. You got your boy Lakim in the building, and I got my brother KB in the building with me. We're on episode 65, and we decided to call this one the Year of Adjustments, right? So KB is going to let y'all know why we decided to choose this name for this episode, and we're going to really make this episode catered towards recap, right? But before we jump into that, we do want to continue our segment, W's and L's, which stands for wins and lessons. So KB, if you could start and let the community know, this episode is the first episode of 2024. So recapping, the last few weeks, do you have a W or do you have an L?
There's no way I'm starting 2024 with an L, bro. But yes, I definitely have a W. It's a relief W. It's a big W. It's something I'm thankful for. But my Brooklyn investment property is in contract, bro.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that was probably one of my biggest lessons for 2023. But to be in contract is definitely a sign of relief. I could stop paying mortgage in a month.
Wow.
But just to be able to all right, I know what I can do so much better. This is my first fix and flip property in New York. And so many things I learned, so many things I wish I could have done differently. But that's all about entrepreneurship, is taking what you can from it, learn from the situation, and just don't let this shit happen again.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to start the year off. And yeah, same, man. Like I'm bringing 2024 in with a W, and I feel like the W that I received in starting the year is just like confirmation of the decisions that I made to finish 2023 in this new coaching software that I'm learning. I just invested into, and I'm developing the skills to be able to roll it out. I'm very, very excited of what's going to be in store for 2024 because of how I finished 2023. So the more I'm learning about how to figure out and have better business strategies, the more excited I am of how big of a year I'm anticipating 2024 to be. So just confirmation, that's my W, the confirmation that the decision I made was the right decision.
Yo, that's one of the best feelings as an entrepreneur, is clarity and knowing the route that you need to be on. Because we could be like, yo, I got this bad idea, I got that bright idea. But once you really figure out that target, it's over. The mind is made up. The focus is what's the most valuable. Because whatever you focus on, you're going to get better at it.
That's it. And I feel like, and that's what we all chase as entrepreneurs, is making sure like the path that I'm going down, is this the right path for me? And I feel like a lot of people, from coaching people, I hear so many people ask me that. They're like, Kim, I hope this is the right path, or, they just pray about it or whatever. But when you get that confirmation, like that gut feeling that this is the right decision, then it, like we said, it's up from there.
Facts. And goes into why we chose this episode. The year of adjustments is exactly what we had to do, is adjust. And I think every great, you know, entrepreneur, every great basketball game, every great boxing match, you got to make adjustments. You just don't go in there the same way that you came out. And I think the pivoting allows us to realize, give us that resilience, but also give us the creativity, also give us the resilience. I mean, also give us the focus to know what's next. And I'm happy about the different adjustments as I come to conclude everything. During these certain quarters, I was not happy and not satisfied. So I won't give y'all any fluff like, oh, it was all cookies and milk. Like, nah, it wasn't, everything wasn't all gravy. However, when you look in the totality and you really get to take out what you really learn and the wins that you did have, it really makes you grateful. And I think that's what this episode is really going to show us, the gratitude of all the different challenges and adjustments we had to make.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about adjustments is that if you don't make adjustments, you're gonna end up like Golden State. And
He was waiting for that.
yeah, I was waiting the whole episode to say that. So the beautiful thing is like, if you don't make adjustments, it's going to be the end of a dynasty, and that's exactly what's happening to the Golden State Warriors. So I'm very sorry of what you've been experiencing here, KB. Like, I know the adjustments you wanted to see, but they didn't. We didn't create this episode yet, so they didn't make the adjustments, my boy.
It's a rebuilding year. It's a rebuilding year. We're gonna make adjustments. We're gonna beat championships again. So it's okay. We've been here before.
And yeah, no, y'all have not been where y'all at right now. This has been a very long time, but I digress. So, like, I agree though. I agree. I think this episode is really meant to be a recap. It's a recap of 2023, man. It's supposed to highlight some of our highest moments and some of our biggest lessons, and to piggyback off of what you said, man, there were quarters in 2023 that I felt like I've cracked the code and I figured out everything that I was searching for. And then there were times in 2023 where I felt lost after I just felt like I figured it out. So it's just, man, it's an understatement of how important making adjustments are, because that's a part of growth. And if we truly are who we say we are, we have to keep making adjustments.
What do you feel was the most important lesson you had learned in 2023?
The importance of my light keep acting crazy. What the heck? All right. So the biggest adjustment or the biggest lesson, I feel like the importance of a community, right? The importance of having a community, and the importance of finding the right partnerships and creating partnerships. Kind of like what we said in, one of the few episodes ago about collaboration. I was so excited about not having the pressure of having so many employees relying on me that I was like, yo, I could do this on my own. I just have, maybe 2 or 3 VAs and I could just run it up. But I didn't really truly understand, or I forgot how important having a community and being a part of a community of people that are on a similar journey as you. Without that, I wasn't the same entrepreneur that I was in the previous years. And, it took me until the very end of 2023 to find the community that I was, desperately needed.
Yeah, that shows self-awareness when you speak about that, because in order to make a certain adjustments, it does not mean what you're doing is wrong. It's just not the best fit at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you realize that, because you coming from the previous, for the new listeners, previous coming from a sales company, having so many different employees, to young working at home, on location freedom, I'm getting Wi-Fi money, I don't got to leave the crib and deal with nobody. So it's 2 different type of worlds, but also realizing community and support is needed regardless if you are working remote.
actually like more important because, like you said, working from home, we already say entrepreneurship is you feel like you're on an island. So when you're working from home, it's just you and the four walls, that you have, and then versus the few people you speak to on Zoom, and it's not the same.
Yeah. And then it's always something special about the face-to-face interaction. And when because you read off people's body language, you don't have to worry about a certain type of connection or somebody freezing. Like you can't like emulate the human interaction, no matter how much AI we got going on. To really vibe with somebody and feel their energy, that's where a lot of great ideas brew in those masterminds meetings. So, we do it virtually because, we had to, compensate for, COVID and post-COVID, and it's how we operate to meet more people. However, that human interaction can never be replaced.
Facts.
But now that's dope, bro. I'm actually happy that, you was able to see that for yourself and realize no matter what I do going forward, I want to make sure I have community and support behind me. I'm
Got
sure.
it. And, what about yourself? Like, what do you feel like was, I don't know, your biggest lesson or adjustment for 2023?
Well, before I answer that question, I felt like I learned like 5 years of experience in 1 year. So like every quarter was something different, something crazy. But I think for me is literally giving myself a little bit more grace when I attack something new. I want to get it done. I want to be the best or be my best. And I want to be, excel at a high level. And for me to really, fully retire and train in 2022 to go straight into full funding, it was tough because I wanted to make certain things click and certain things happen. And I was, did some real estate investments. I did multiple real estate investments at once. And I think for me, it was like my focus. Like my focus is most important. Yeah, I could be great at, many things, but how much greater can I be if I focus on less amount of things?
Mm-hmm.
So literally like 2024, I'm just saying no to everything. If it's not within the lanes that I want to do, it's not my purpose, I'm saying no. And I think coming from my background of doing so many different things, so modeling, acting, I have my nonprofit, training, doing all these different things, and it's like, all right, I could be a Renaissance man, so that's cool, but at the same time, let me focus on what I want to do and become better at it. Because initially, even when I started funding in 2020, in 2022, I had to take a step back and so I can focus to learn it. So to be able to take everything out, I consider it noise if it's not going to help me on one or two things, which is mostly funding right now and real estate build out my team. I'm not doing it. And I pretty much learned like, yo, my focus is powerful because I can watch something, implement it, and do it, but I can't do that for 4 different businesses. I can't build out a funnel and a customer journey and a value ladder for 4 different businesses, having objections of 4 different businesses, having different lead magnets of 4 different businesses. It's a lot. So to be able to narrow that down, it's like, nah, let me narrow it down some more. And I'm pretty sure by the end of the year, I'll probably narrow down even more, where it might be just strictly just funding and real estate is running on its own on autopilot.
So wait, what about feeding the city? So we're not doing feeding the city 2024?
No. Well, feeding the city is only one day, really, multiple Thanksgiving out of the year. However, I do want a team to help me like help run it instead of me trying to figure out what I'm going to do because I'm so focused on business. Like, damn, I got to be able to do this for my business. Then I won't be at the full effect for feeding the city because that's something that's part of my purpose. No matter how much I'm up, how many M's I touch, I want to do it. Well, I want to give away, don't matter the magnitude. So giving someone, hot meals on Thanksgiving has been a part of me since I started my business. So literally it's been it'll be the 14th year.
Wow.
So it showed me so many ways. That's something I always do, but far as in, doing more real estate investments, I don't see that happening this year.
Okay.
Like it has to be, I don't know, like God had to come down and give me a dream himself. And I still love real estate from the retail side, but the investing side is so much more intricate and there's so many more variables that I cannot control. And, so I learned like, let me just focus, because only reason 2023 was really hard for me because I was feeling like I was playing catch up because the real estate investments didn't go as planned.
Yep.
So to me, have that win for this week, it kind of like concealed my year of like, all right, I don't have to worry about this shit this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my biggest lesson.
How much was you paying for that property?
Probably I wasn't living at, and it wasn't having no tenants.
Yeah.
5 bids a month, bro.
Oh my God.
So initially it didn't start the way we split in, with the partners, but the way things happen and people personal reasons, I'll take cut of the slack, but I have to get my cut, once the deal is done.
Got it.
So I'm paying, I can't pay that in credit either. So
That's straight cash right there.
yeah, so that was the biggest relief off my back, where it's like, all right, I can get this off, but also makes you realize too, if I do want to do a certain type of investment and I can invest in my business and put it towards ads, I could pay $1,000 a month if I was already paying $5. I can afford that. So it showed me where I could stretch myself at, and also showed me like, all right, I can actually use this towards to put more money into my business.
Very true. And then, so did you say what your biggest lesson was? You said it was like more so the focus.
Yeah, like really managing my focus this year. Like even when it comes down on a day-to-day of, doing my work, I spend some time on social media, but really putting on a podcast. I go to the gym, put on something, or put on a podcast because I love music. However, there's certain moments where I need to grasp the knowledge so I can implement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really being more intentional about my focus. And, I still want to be entertained, watch certain things, but the number one is like, yo, what can I get from this? How can I use this to help other people? So that's really where my driving point at, because it's so much you could get done in an hour if you just lock everything in, lock in, put on do not disturb. You don't have to be 6 hours like, oh, I'm in grime or I'm tunnel vision. Like literally 1 hour every day can change your life.
That's a fact.
That's helpful with health too.
And that's so true, bro. I feel like sometimes people overcomplicate, or they make it, just way more difficult than what the actual process needs to be. So how about this, bro? I think one way we could attack this episode is just taking it quarter by quarter, talking about our W's and L's and adjustments we had to make in each quarter, because there was 4 quarters last year, and I know every quarter came with this different adjustments, So me looking, and I'll start us off on, we could share like our emotion going into Q1, and then maybe just some of the adjustments that we made. And just off the top, without even really taking too deep a dive in my Q1 review from my planner, I just know going into Q1 of 2023, if I had to just choose a feeling, I would just say excited. It was just like everything was new. It was the first time that I knew I was going to be working from home. I just felt like I was, going to take over with my Amazon business. It just, everything felt exciting again, but with new and exciting also comes like a search to kind of find your angle on how you could dominate this new journey. And I was just trying to lay the foundation in Q1, so for everything in Q1, I put like my top 3 achievements I put was like, I invested into Richard Yu's coaching program, because I was really just trying to find a mentor in coaching, because I know that's the lane that I wanted to be. I hired my first project manager in Q1. So that was the first time I hired someone on my coaching team to like get the coaching business off the ground. And then I also launched my coaching website. I released my goal setting worksheet. I launched my first email campaign. So it was just like those wins just made me feel like Q1 was just all about excitement and just a new chapter, and that's
guns blazing.
Yeah, and that's just how I felt. And I felt like I got a lot done in Q1, to be honest. What about you?
Q1 was so tough because similar to you, I had a whole bunch of excitement in the beginning of the whole idea was to build affordable homes. And this is something that we strategized since last, 2022, the end of 2022, where we're going to build homes for around like, 50, 60,000, sell them for 140, 150, profit margins looking like 25,000, 30,000 a month.
Wow.
So, and we bought land, we had land we was going to build on, everything. So the newness and opportunity was right there. Like, you could taste the success. And then uncontrollable variables came, curveballs came, and it's like you got the first punch in the mouth, where the land that we wanted to build on wasn't settled enough. So we had to find a way to get dirt. So it's like, yo, we from the city. Where we going to find dirt from? Like, then we kind of find out to transport the dirt costs $100,000.
What?
Yeah, so it was just so many different curveballs, and then Brooklyn property is supposed to be started in December. It was supposed to be done in mid-January. Brooklyn didn't get done. So I'm like, all right, we got to do this. We got to make certain adjustments, to the house. It's going to get done. It's going to get done. Something happened with the flooring. The flooring wasn't the same. It wasn't leveled out. Then we had to switch where he's going to put the bathroom at. And it was just like, yo, I can't go in the house and do this myself. Like, if I could do it, I'll be full more control. But the fact that I'm paying for something and I can't have no full like control of the outcome, I just have to wait and based on a contractor. So I was literally working on that deal, and then we was doing a fix and flip in North Carolina, and that was supposed to be done, supposed to be sold, and a lot of the people that was working for me got hurt with health reasons.
Damn.
So all this was going on. I got my dream car, but my dream car is comes with a dream payment. So it was new expenses, more expenses, and it wasn't less money coming in. And then when it came down to funding, I didn't have no pipeline, like none. And that's because I wasn't sure who I wanted to target. The people I had lined up, it gave me a bad taste in my mouth as far as pause, bad far as in helping people and they quitting their job during the middle of the process.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to get funding, how are you going to quit your job? Like, your job is going to be your investor for, to keep your lights on, to keep your personal expenses. The business fund is going to help you circumference your business. So I was going through all these different emotions where I didn't even want to speak to nobody. I didn't want to make no content, post no content, because it was like, these people are not really winning. And I was just so frustrated where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna get through it. I had my days of like, I want this to work, but also my days where, yeah, I don't know. I have to go train, like, to go back to get some bread. And I had clients reach out to me on the side, like, okay, B, you train me. I won't tell nobody. Like, I'll pay you double. It was very tempting when it's like, yeah, I was doing great in this one sector, this one field, and I'm not doing great at all in this.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a lot for me to stay the course and like, yo, I'm working out, but it was tough. Q1 was very hard.
Yeah. And I feel like that, I forgot, I put that down too. That was the same quarter I got my car as well. And I felt like that was my first quarter of just like building my online business, So I felt excited. I had a lot of money saved in beginning of Q1. So I just felt confident. I felt like, all right, I got enough time to figure things out. And yeah, and Q1, it felt like for me, it was going to be an up and up year with taking things off. So let's talk about Q2 now, right? And Q2, it was an amazing quarter. So many good things happened. I built, I built a marketing team. I purchased like a Beyonce ticket. I forgot that I did that. I purchased a Beyonce ticket that I was going to raffle off. Start going to vendor events. It was just like a full circle again, like good trajectory of, I felt like things were moving in the right way. And I put my top 3 achievements was Q2 was I had my first 5-figure month with coaching again, and to me that's a big milestone because it's a new industry. It's it's not super high ticket. It is high ticket, but I still got to put in the work to get these clients. So, I had over an $11,000 month in May. I went to 7 vendor events, and I actually completed my SOPs with my project manager. So again, I felt like this quarter was a reflection of Q1. Q1 was setting the foundation. Q2 was implementing, and I just felt like things were going great. And yeah, and I felt great about that. So Q2 again, I felt like was a build up on Q1. And for me, it felt like a lot of things were moving in the right direction because I just started this coaching business, and now I'm coaching, now I'm closing coaching clients, and it built my confidence even more.
Yeah, that's an amazing feeling, especially when you're doing something new. And
Yep.
it's lucrative with,
Yeah.
not too
Yeah.
much overhead. So as we read the quarterly review, for those who are just listening, the first question I ask you for the entrepreneur plan is how I'm feeling.
Mhm.
And for the review. And I literally said, at first I wasn't pleased about Q2 because it didn't fall into place like how I wanted to work out. But after talking to Lay, he gave me a different perspective. So I'm thankful for the progress that was made despite all the challenges, emotional, financially. I definitely didn't feel like a failure or quitting at all like Q1.
Yep.
So it helped out a lot, and that goes back to, talking about the support. So I was able to chop it up with you and be able to, vent and release, because entrepreneurs, we don't not entrepreneurs, but certain people in life, we just don't want to seem like we're struggling, and you don't have that vulnerability. And it's like you need to have that with your inner circle. Instagram is one thing, but your inner circle needs to know what's going on with you emotionally.
Because they
Um,
know you're the best.
yeah, and I'm thankful for you, bro, because I'm not sure exactly what conversation, but I know it's a powerful conversation
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was feeling down, and we talk all the time, but that's how I was feeling as I was writing my review. But my top 3 achievements was actually selling the property in North Carolina. It still
Yep.
was profitable, so I gotta be happy about that. It wasn't profitable as we planned, but we still, so got it done despite of the contractor bailing out on us. We still was able to go get it done, and that was when we went out there and it didn't close.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then we had this, and then we thank God we had to spend back, but we was able to do the closing virtually. Um, Finishing BK property, finishing with the actual updates and the renovations. So I think we put it on the market at in May.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then helping one of my clients, like one of my biggest clients, actually help her get almost to 700,000 in funding.
Ooh.
So and then seeing her actually do the right thing with the funding and creating her store in Brooklyn called Fee Noel. It was dope to actually be there in a physical space, knowing that I'm actually helping somebody and doing the right thing towards it. It gave me the fulfillment of like, yo, I'm part of this process. I got a little part of her story. And for her to, say in her testimonial, like, you helped my dream come true,
Damn.
that was everything for me, because what I was dealing with Q1, it was like, yo, where do I find these people at? But I realized too, it wasn't what I was saying that wasn't valuable, it's who I was talking to wasn't
Yeah.
valuable. That was the biggest difference from Q1, because I'm like, all right, now I could see this really, towards the end, I'm seeing different spikes of, some wins now. I'm not just, I really felt like a failure more than anything, than a champion, where I didn't want to get out of bed, literally physically just in bed all day trying to, like, yo, I don't even know what I want to do. Like, and it upset me because my bed was nice.
I
I
remember
felt
you
like
say you felt like you didn't deserve it, like you wanted to get a new hunger and go back to the
go
smaller
back
bit.
to the twin, bro. Go back to
Yeah.
the twin. I feel like the twin, that's why I made the most money, because I was fighting that hunger. It's like a rapper, his first album, out the struggle, and it's very gritty, it's very raw. And then after second and third album, and a little commercial, and it's like, yo, this is like watered down into a point where I'm not as hot no more, or I don't feel as good. And I just felt like, damn, I feel mad about being in a king size bed right now. Maybe if I had a smaller bed, my feet was hanging off the bed, I'd be more motivated to get my ass up.
Yeah.
So it was tough. It was very tough, bro.
And I feel like I'm so glad that you're sharing the transparency, because again, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, um they're scared to do that, and they don't have no one to share it with. And they just expect the journey to be all, perfect, and everything's supposed to go the way you want. And that's not the reality of it. So the fact that you were able to get through that, I think, says a lot about your character. And I remember I remember in Q1, you didn't seem like yourself. And when you were telling me you were having, trouble just waking up and getting out of bed, I was like, yo, that's not like you. So I think towards the end of Q1, you finally told me, and then Q2 we start talking about it more. And I said something in Q2 about like just writing it out, and appreciate the journey more, and where you're going, because where you are now is still at your lowest, is still 10 times better than where
Yeah.
it was when you was down on the come up. So I think that's the best thing that us entrepreneurs, we have to always remember, is like, yo, your darkest moments end up helping you become the strongest version of yourself if you're able to get through it and not give up. And I just want more entrepreneurs to keep that in mind. So, you know, I want to share my Q3 now. So for me, Q3 just really felt like I had more motion. What I put for my Q3 was, this quarter felt like I had a lot of motion. I had a great time at InvestFest. I closed a few clients. I sold a lot of planners this quarter. I had an amazing birthday. I spent a lot of time with family. I booked a trip to Puerto Rico. And I actually did a lot of traveling in Q3. I visited 2 countries in 1 month. I was able to spend my birthday with you and the gang.
Burna
I
Boy was lit. Burna Boy
yeah,
was lit.
yeah, bro. Like, and it was more so, it was the people I was able to spend it with. I was able to see pretty much everybody, or most of the people that I cared about within, 24, 48 hours, and then do cool shit. So that made me feel really good. I had a ribbon cutting event, and you were able to, show support and pop out there. So it was just a lot of wins. So what I put for my top 3 achievements was, I had an amazing birthday. I had a ribbon cutting event. I collected $15,000 in the month of August. InvestFest just really gave me a good spike. I went skydiving for the first time. I forgot that I did that.
Yeah.
And the fourth win, I put 4 wins for Q3, was because I visited 2 countries in 1 month, even though Puerto Rico is not a country, but to me it felt like it. So I went to Puerto Rico and
Out the
Jamaica.
hood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Puerto Rico and Jamaica like within the same month, and I just felt like that was cool. Like that was shit that, like, bro, we dreamed about growing up. Just being able to get on a plane and go places and do cool shit. And when that becomes your reality, you're just like, damn, this is, younger me would be happy. But like sometimes when you're in the moment, you act like it's natural, and it's like, nah, bro, where we come from, this is not natural, this is not normal.
Yeah.
So it just, Q3, it was just beautiful, bro. Like Q1, Q2, Q3 just kept being a upward trajectory. And I felt like my highlight of that quarter was how I ended my 20s. Because turning 30 is a big milestone, because it's like you retire in your 20s. Your 20s, you're no longer, could never, say I'm 20 whatever anymore. Now is a new chapter.
I still say it.
I mean, you can't say it, you can feel it. So you're lying. You're lying telling people you're in your 20s. You can feel like you're in your 20s. But I don't know, bro. It was a overall a really, really good quarter for me.
Yeah, no, it was dope to see, to see the joy on you as well, with the new business, even with the new experiences. Uh, it's always dope. Like when you broke, you know, with your peoples, and then you see them want to come up and doing different things, like you said, that we talked about or dreamed about. It's a win for you too.
Yeah.
And so I was excited to, be there for you in the space and knowing like you always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro, it was a lit summer.
Yeah. Facts. Facts. That's how I felt. What about you?
For me, it's actually a little bit different from Q2. Like I literally wrote grateful, exclamation mark, thankful, exclamation mark, prepared. And I said every L I took this year was a leg up to get me prepared for Q3.
Mm.
I felt like God isolated me to hear me clearly, so I could hear from him clearly with no distractions. So my spiritual, my mental, my physical, and emotional tapped in. Now my finances is gonna take off. And I felt like I can't lose with God on my side.
Damn.
And it was just I can't even tell, but the way I wrote it, that I was, you know, even more confident. And my number one, my top three achievements was actually starting boxing.
Yeah. Yeah. That brought a lot of joy to you, bro.
Yeah, and being consistent since I walked in, because it literally how it came about. I was stressed out, and I always take my different walks, my daily walks to help, around my neighborhood. And I was like, let me just try this way. And I end up literally stumbling, walking in the gym, saw the sign. It said free first lesson. And I've been there ever since, like July. The only time I missed is when I went on vacation.
Yep.
And so that really, and he said, yo, what are you trying to work on? I'm like, I want to learn technique, but I got high stress level. He like, all right, yo, we're gonna work on it. And it was just such a great, healthy release for me. And I didn't even care about the expense because I'm like, I need this for myself.
Yeah.
A lot of times where we struggling financially as an entrepreneur, because you don't know when the next dollar coming in if you don't have the leads and the system set up. Usually your self-care gets thrown out the window first. Like, what I'm going to gym for? I'm not going to gym. Like, I got to figure out how to get some clients. But a gym's not gonna make me no money. And it's like you automatically think in an analytical way, and not realizing the emotion is what gets you to the next day. So starting the boxing was super dope. Also building a family structure framework. When I was coming from Jamaica. So me and my girlfriend Shirley, as I'm on a plane, literally I'm reading about the Rockefellers, and I'm like, what would the Rockefellers do? I'm going to read this, and I don't have a family legacy, legacy, generational wealth. We scream that. But let me set something up with the person I want to create my family with. So literally, I asked her, and she was open, where we check in every week, spiritually, business, and relationship wise. And that probably has been one of the biggest shifts for us to draw us closer, and not to let any room, because so much can happen in 2 or 3 weeks, let alone 2 or 3 months, you
Yep.
know, with your life going on, your significant other life going on. It's a lot. So to be able to present that to her, and her being absolutely down and adding more questions to it, we go through a list of questions every week. So that was dope.
I didn't know you started that in Q3 of last year.
Yeah, literally, I was on a plane. I was writing it down. I was reading a book, and I was like, "Let me put the book down." I felt like a hypocrite, like because I didn't have my family structure set up or what with her. So it's like we say family, but if you with a significant other for a certain amount of time, they're serious, then why y'all not checking in
Yep.
and learn, on these different topics that y'all care about? So and the other achievement was just learn to pivot. And I said that there's no slow seasons. And
Mhm.
when I captured that phrase, it's like, I don't care if clients not coming in, I'm building relationships. I don't care if relationships not coming in, I'm posting my content. Like there's always a moving force of what I can do on my activity level. And that's why I started judging myself off of, if I could figure out the income I put in, the different results, the outcome is going to change. So I'm networking every week. I'm speaking to people in relations every week. I'm doing Zoom calls with people. Even if they're not an actual lead, I'm trying to let them know what my business offer and see how I can help their business. And once I got that confidence, and I really got isolated in this quarter, because where my house is set up, I had a leak
Yeah, I
on
remember that too. Yeah.
my wall. So I had to stay in the guest room for like a good week. And that week I just felt back in the quarters, I was on a twin bed. I was on a queen, but I would just felt back in the quarters, close quarters, where I'm just locking in and I'm reading. And if I was really locking in with 50's book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. And it was just a game changer for me to have that, once I get out of this space, I'm gonna come out differently. Even though, I live in a nice ass house,
Yeah.
but it was that, nah, I need to be in the close quarters right now to be able to, hear clearly about what I want to make my next move. And I think that was the biggest thing. And that's when I started learning about writing down my advantages versus my disadvantages. So different frameworks came out of me being isolated and locked in for that certain amount of time. So when it's time for me to go out, speak to everybody, I was good.
Yeah, and again, I think it's important, bro. Is like sometimes, like you said, just being able to get regrounded and look at everything that you know you're capable of doing. I don't know, it brought a new hunger out of you and a new desire to figure it out at a high level. And I feel like that's what a lot of people they get comfortable and they're okay with that. So I'm glad that you made that adjustment, because again, that's what this episode is all about. Making the adjustments as they present themselves. You made a lot of pivotal adjustments in Q3 based on what you just shared, and I felt like it set you up, for Q4 and for where we at right now. So now it's crazy, bro. Like, I want to share my Q4. My Q4 was very similar to your Q1. And Q4, it humbled me. It brought me back to a scary place of like where I actually felt fearful of. I don't know, like I just felt like I lost a lot of confidence in Q4 because the previous 3 quarters were on the up and up. But Q4, I actually started running out of money because I was having an amazing summer. I was doing everything and I was making money, but I was also spending it as quickly as I was making it. So this is what I put for Q4. Q4, I put this was the toughest quarter of the year. I'm normally a very confident person, but this quarter humbled me more than I've ever felt since I started running a business. And that was back in 2015. I literally, had the least amount of money, and I felt at my lowest. Luckily, I found a way at the end of the quarter. I found a way out, and I ended the quarter with more confidence. And I feel like I have a good plan going into 2024. And a big thing that I learned about myself in Q4 was just having the support of my wife. Like, bro, I was just at a stage of where I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed in Q4 of my performance, my results, and I just felt low. But my wife Tiana she was there for me, and she comforted me when I felt, like I didn't know what I was doing. And I feel like just that support was
Yeah.
everything. It was everything. And we had one particular conversation where she was like, yo, this is not like you. Like, you normally more hungry than this. And it's crazy, bro,
Yeah.
because now I could remember of like what you're saying. There were days that I got out of bed and I just didn't want to do nothing. And I don't know. I didn't want to do not like I felt. I don't know. I felt just different, bro. And it wasn't a good feeling. It really wasn't. And that talk that me and Tiana had, it woke me up. It woke me up, and she made me realize that, like, I'm him, and I need to remind myself of that. And that conversation we had it flipped the switch for me. So my top three achievements was, because I was down, I really needed to get a way out, and I was able to get a $50,000 line of credit that got deposited. That gave me some breathing room, and that allowed me to get things back up to par. A big achievement was I had an amazing Christmas party with my friends and my families and my in-laws. You showing up, and and then we chopped it up for hours after the party. That meant a lot to me. That meant a lot, just being able to bring everybody together and see everybody have so much joy. That was a really, really big win for me in Q4. The third win was I found a coaching community, and I found a coach. His name is Jarvis. I felt like he was supporting me, and he led me into saying, "Yo, Lakim, this is the community that I think you've been needing to grow your coaching business," and it really has been. And the fourth win was my Amazon store did $12,000 in revenue in the month of December, which was a big spike because of all of the shopping and the holidays. So it just made me. I started Q4 so bad where my confidence was so low, but I always found a way to get myself out of it. And I felt like I finished the quarter with more confidence than how I started the quarter.
Yeah, bro, that's super powerful. And it's important to share because sometimes people always think, yo, it's just gonna be up and up, up and up, up and up. And you're not really prepared for the next curve. So to be able to be transparent with your feelings, and thank God for Tiana, it's like she showed you a mirror and remind you who you are. And your significant other can be your rise or your downfall,
Yep.
especially being an entrepreneur, because there's times where we second guess ourselves, believe in ourselves. We need that reassurance.
If she
So
had kicked me when I was down, bro, that would have messed me up bad.
yeah,
Like
that
really
definitely.
messed my confidence.
So nah, that's powerful. Even with mine's like with Q4, I didn't get a chance to actually write it because there was so much going on.
Yeah.
But I can honestly say that Q4 was like what do you call it? It was full circle of the year, and I hit some high months. I think I did 31,000 in October
Let's
or
go.
November. And it was dope to do it. It was like, oh shit, like this is what it feels like again. Cause I've been here before, but all right, bet I haven't been here in a while.
Yep.
So it was really a blessing to me to be able to like, yo, this is what you do, this is what you're capable of. And Shirley gave me that reassurance as well. But it was just like, damn, I was fighting joy because like, all right, I did this, but damn, what's gonna happen? Because you can have these crazy numbers, then you have uncontrollable expenses that happen where it's like, yeah, you made 30, now you got to spend 5K this week on something, some bullshit. So I made it, but I was still kind of timid because of all the challenges that happened this year. So I didn't
Yeah.
really enjoy it as much because I know I had this idea I was coming digging myself out of a hole.
Yep.
Kept just like, well, it's not 100K, but in a month, but it's 30, so I've still got a lot more work to do. So I kind of took away from my own excitement, from that. But towards the end, it became dope. I did the event with Chase. That was successful, having a partnership with Chase, and my funding company turned 2 years in February.
Wow.
So well, consulting company, but it's super. It was super solid. My birthday, crazy surprise party. Was on a billboard in 42nd Street. Girlfriend
Yeah.
said, went to DR. So it was a lot of festivities and celebration. And feeding the city, we was able to do it as well.
That is a lot, bro.
Yeah,
God damn.
yeah, it was a lot going on in quarter 4. So I didn't even get a chance to actually write it, but it was a full circumference of I understand why certain things didn't happen. And I'm actually glad certain things didn't happen. Now I joined a new brokerage. I switched my team. So
Yeah.
now
Yep.
with real estate, I could be able to be a team leader and build other people up. So literally, I don't have to physically be there all the time because I got people, through my training system. So it was so many different changes and pivots and adjustments
Yeah.
within a year, but Q4 just made everything come full circle. And I'm literally just like, yo, I'm thankful. So I have a recap I do every year, and New Year's Eve I did a recap because as an entrepreneur, you just always compare what you did last year. That's what a lot of businesses do. What you did last year on this date, what you did last year on this quarter. And I was just a little upset for like a couple hours because I didn't, this is the first time in 5 years I ever decreased my gross income.
Mhm.
Every year I either increase, and then some years I doubled. So the first time in 5 years I have less than what I did, and it's not the less at total, like you said, it's not the 52 low,
Yeah.
It's a mark that I haven't been to. I'm like, yo, but I achieved in every other area besides, the performance of monetary. So I achieved in, boxing, I've achieved in much of my relationship, closest to my family. And even with myself, like my mental, my spirit is much stronger. And my awareness and emotional intelligence to have like poise to a lot of things. Because entrepreneur, you want to go, go, go. So by me really dissecting that and watching my videos that I created throughout the year, it helped gave me that reassurance, like, nah, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. I had to say that physically to myself, like, yo, bro, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes you got to do that. You have to, because, I'm glad that, you were able to still realize all of the things you were able to get done, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, bro, beyond finances, I do feel like 2023 was the year I've seen you grow the most. So I haven't seen you be this challenged in a long time, and the fact that you were able to take the challenge and still be able to like overcome it and finish the year strong. I feel like that shows a lot of your character and your determination.
I appreciate that, man. I just think I just always had the thought of, this it's always gonna be up. And it's like there's nothing gonna challenge me because I'm doing everything right. And sometimes that's not how life works. Like you could do everything right and still get it wrong.
Yeah.
And so that was a lesson for me to understand, like, you know what? Whatever happens, I'm gonna find a way to pivot it anyway and make the adjustment.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what this episode is all about. So as we, wrap things up, KB, and share our final thoughts of 2023, the year of adjustments, what would you say is like your final thoughts or takeaways on the year of adjustments?
Uh it's crazy for me to say it, but take a nap. Like literally take a nap and regroup. I think calibrating was probably the one of the biggest lessons I learned, because you could be at the computer, you could be at the job, be at the desk, and it will not feel like it's clicking. Like it's okay to step away from it, get a different set of eyes, and come back to it. And I think that was a small adjustment that I needed to make on my daily to make me realize, like, I'm gonna come back to this because I want I want to get it done. I want to beat up, mama mentality to 4 in the morning till it's finished. And it's like, that's not how I operate. I gotta have rest, I gotta have sleep, even for your health, but I gotta rejuvenate my thoughts.
Yep.
So I would say that's one small pivot on a daily changed my weeks. It's like, yo, do all you can do. If you do everything you can do in a day, live with that. So don't think about what's not being done. Just focus on what's tasked and what's your focus on the daily task for today. All right, I'm gonna put in things that's gonna bring in income to the business or revenue to the business. And I'm not gonna do these things that's not so important. I'm actually gonna try to leverage those, or I'm gonna try to automate those in the system.
Yeah, bro. And that's so funny. Like that's a simple gem, but like, that made you be more productive. Just take a nap, and for me, my final takeaway on the year of adjustments is make sure you find a community and you look for as many collaboration opportunities as possible, because anytime you start something new, anytime, you reach the top of one mountain, just remember the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. And I needed that reminder that a big part of my success up until this point has been the support of a community from my family, business, and looking for collaborations. I think back to when I ran my sales company, when I had some great months, and it was like, I had different collaborations, and that's just a part of business. It's not an embarrassment to look for collaborations to grow yourself and your company. So find my message, my theme for all of 2024 is to find the right collaborations and to have the support of a community to hit every goal that I have set out for 2024. So if y'all do that, I feel like 2024 is going to be a beautiful year for you guys. So, if you got some value. Yep.
Nah, can we send that last clip to LeBron, because he won't be able to win if you don't have a 3-point shooter?
Anyone can start, but only champions finish. Now that you've completed this episode, you're ready to continue your journey by connecting directly with our hosts of Entrepreneurhood. Follow us on Instagram at The Entrepreneurhood to stay updated with the community. For each episode, the first set of listeners to tag us on Instagram and leave a 5-star review will be entered into a drawing to get a free one-on-one coaching session on the topic of entrepreneurship with our hosts. Remember, there is no shame in struggling because we fail, we grow, and we win. Right here on Entrepreneurhood.